Hello, this is Professor K. I wanted to go through the week 2 coursework that we have. I'll try to keep it quick and informative. Start with the content. If you just go through the content for the week, you'll get the coursework completed. Here's a list of what you need to do for the week. There's some reading, a quiz on the academic integrity quiz. The tutorial for that was in the first week's module. Go ahead and take the quiz and get that done. Then there's a tutorial on APA style formatting of papers. The quiz for that isn't until week 4, so just go ahead and look at the tutorial, and there's another one next week, and then you'll do the actual quiz in week 4, but you don't have to worry about a quiz at this point in time for that. Library tutorial, look at that. That's good to look at. Offers some good tips on using the library. There's 2 chapters that you should read. There are e-textbook chapters that will be helpful for you. And there's also a video review that our program chair put together on Unit 10, which is worth looking at. There's also one discussion on sending an email to a professor. This video offers some great tips on how to write good emails in business, and that's important because emails are just such an important part of business communication nowadays. So definitely highly recommend you look at that video. Most of this instruction now, though, I think I'll focus on the major assignments. Well, the instructions for this discussion are right here. Please read them over. You're supposed to write an email to me, your professor, so it'd be a good idea to address it to me and follow the protocol mentioned above in the video about how to construct a polite, pleasant, informative, clear, concise email that will get the information across to your audience. Post it. You want to do your initial post. You want to construct your email and post it by Thursday this week, and give feedback to at least one other student's post. Just offer some comments on perhaps ways to improve it, or just say good work, and I really like these points that you made, or these tactics you use to create your email. And you'll want to submit feedback to at least one other student by the end of the week, Sunday. So that's your discussion post for the week. And this is where I primarily want to give some comments or tips on. Here's our first major assignment. It's called a persuasive message. If you click, here's how you get to the file to submit it, but the instructions, well, we can go that way. And the instructions are here. I also put a tip sheet here. We'll go through that. One other thing that's important here while I'm in it is down here. It's kind of awkward to find, but down here is the actual rubric, the grading rubric. So you might want to take a look at that, because that's how I'll actually grade the assignment right here. So look through these variables here, look what's important, and try to get those things completed as well as you can, and you'll get the points that you need to get a good grade. So the actual assignment instructions are here. I think I'll read through most of it because for this assignment the instructions are fairly short. So what you're going to do is a persuasive email message, and you will be the Chief Technology Officer for Johnson College, and you're a growing online school. Your institution offers hundreds of classes, thousands of online sections, etc. Johnson College changed its learning management system 2 years ago. As CTO, you oversaw the change and you adopted Leo. However, in the 2 years since using Leo, you have found several problems with the system, and you've communicated your concerns. Well, actually, the concerns are, I don't like the way this is worded here, really, because it's really probably some feedback you've gotten throughout the whole college. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So you're supposed to write for this assignment, write an email message to address it to Mr. Robert Kurzweil. He's in the Leo organization, and suggest 3 changes that you'd like Leo to change to its interface so that it'll help students at Johnson College. These are suggested changes that you can use. I'll go through that in my tip sheet in a minute. Please note that your institution is a major customer of Leo. The goal of your email is to set up, this is important, the goal of your email is to set up a phone meeting. So that's really what your email wants to do. You want to meet with him and talk about the suggested changes that you have in mind for Leo. There's good tips here on professional emails that you might want to look at. Especially I like the how to close the email that's listed on that document. So you can click on that if you want. Your audience is Mr. Kurzweil, and other people will probably look at it too. They would be considered secondary audience. Here's how you should do it. To Mr. Kurzweil, subject, fill in your subject line. For this subject line, I'd recommend request for a meeting on some changes, the actual purpose of your email, and then have your email message there. The length 300, 450 words, which is good. If you go longer than that, you might lose your audience. They might not want to read it. If you go too short, you might not be able to really discuss or be informative enough to let your audience know really what you're concerned about or what you want to work with. So, and it's due at the end of the week. This is a first draft assignment, and by that I mean you will have a chance to upgrade it into a final draft. However, I highly recommend that you do write it like it is your final draft. That way I can offer some specific feedback to you. It won't be too sloppy then. If it's real sloppy and not well done, then I really can't offer much except to say you need to write it so that I can understand it. So I would treat it as a final draft, and then if it's good, you won't even have to write it again. But if there's some changes that I see that are necessary, you will have another chance to do a final draft. So let's go back to this tip sheet and click on that. Hopefully your Word document will appear. I would mention a request for a meeting early in the email or in the subject line. I would make your letter a college decision, not a personal request. For example, students, faculty, and administration would like to see the following changes implemented to the Leo system. Some students in the past have kind of made it like a personal request, but I wouldn't recommend that. So use a bullet pointed list. You can use the one provided, but some adjustments need to be made to it. But it is a good list. You can use that overall. However, there's things that could be, think about a better approach to the bullet points. You can present some solutions. For example, instead of just stressing that something does not work, it needs to be better, just say the following changes will improve our Leo system: increasing the length of audio clips, including a video function. So instead of stressing what's wrong or needs to be fixed, just go ahead and offer what you want to see as solutions. Mention that the changes might be helpful to Leo's other customers as well. Be positive, pleasant, and respectful. Since this is your first request and you're just requesting a meeting, put that in that's the main point of your email. So I wouldn't even mention personally that changing the management system is an option, because I think it's kind of like a subtle threat and it's not really appropriate for a first notice. Generally speaking, you want to be polite and respectful in business. That way you can keep working together with your clients and customers and associates in a courteous manner and a friendly manner. It's better for business. So include contact information and a time frame for response, such as 2 weeks. Please respond to this email in 2 weeks so that we can set up a time for our meeting. So those are some tips that you'll find down here on the assignment. If you have any other questions on what's going on this week, please email me, and I look forward to reading your persuasive email, and let's have a great week. Thanks.